big news in personal finance. Hi, this is financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. So July 2024 was a month for the ages. But in the personal finance space, it's sort of been ho-hum until July 31st. On July 31st, the gentleman who is most likely, certainly not guaranteed, to be President of the United States in the year 2025, Donald Trump, put something on Truth in all caps, which is his way of saying it's basically a binding commitment. He said that Social Security should not be taxed. Now, that is a big development, right? Now, you have to sort of play the odds a little bit here, right? There's no guarantees of any outcome. But when we look at current polling, we look at some of the internals in the current polling, we look at some of the long-term trends, the odds as we sit in early August 2024 is that Mr. Trump will be the next president of the United States in 2025. And the odds are he would bring a Republican House and a Republican Senate. And now he's put his chips in the middle of the table, right? What's he going to do? Win the election and then not get rid of taxes on Social Security? That would be a big problem for him if he didn't act on that promise. And in fact, if this came up in Congress, you might have some Democrats join with Republicans because they don't want in 2026 to have a Republican opponent put this in their face, hey, you voted against getting rid of taxes on Social Security. So what that means in the personal finance space is it may be time to adjust our thinking. You know, I went back 11 months ago, I did a video on the years 2017 to 2022. And what you saw is incrementally tax cuts for retirees. And I made the point in that video, look, a lot of the content out there is saying that retirees are going to be subject to these big tax hikes, okay? And I strongly went against that view. And part of the reason I did that was I said, well, wait a minute, over the last, half decade or so, we've had small tax cut after small tax cut after small tax cut on retirees. Other than, I would say, TCJA back in 2017, though temporary was a big tax cut for retirees. But mostly it had been sort of these nickel-dime tax cuts for retirees. And so the implicit message in that video was sort of like, hey, you know what? Over the next decade or so, they're probably going to do a few more of these nickel-dime tax cuts. So, in retirement, you might get to go to P.F. Chang's one or two more times a year because there'll be some other nickel-dime tax cut. Well, if that was the message that was sort of implicit in that video, it appears today that may not be the right message. It might be that retirees are going to get a big tax cut in retirement. So it's essentially eliminating from federal income tax, Social Security would be a very big tax cut for retirees. And look, there's no guarantee, like I said, but it's sort of like if we're playing the odds, we might want to bet on this happening. No guarantee. But it's so interesting to me that, for all this content out there, that we're going to, retirees are going to get destroyed by taxes in retirement. We now have the leading contender for the presidency in 2025 saying, guess what? A big slug of income that's been hitting those tax returns, just take it off your tax return. That's a huge tax cut for retirees. So I think we need to adjust our paradigm, thinking here in terms of how are retirees taxed. Stay tuned, right? Watch the election through November, of course. But it might be that worrying about tax hikes on retirees is the entirely wrong exercise, because it might be that retirees are about to have a bunch of income kicked off their tax return. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please mash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.